Mr. Speaker, I rise today with a heavy heart. This week, 9 of my fellow paratroopers from the 82nd Airborne Division were killed in Iraq. 9 more heroes killed. 9 more paratroopers returning home in coffins draped in the American flag. Mr. Speaker, Daniel Webster's words are etched in marble above each of us in this room. And I quote, "To see whether we also, in our day and generation, may not perform something worthy to be remembered." Mr. Speaker, I know the task is daunting, but let this Congress be remembered for leading our country in a new direction in Iraq. Mr. Speaker, I was deployed to Iraq in 2003 and 2004. 19 of my fellow paratroopers I served with never made it home from the streets of Baghdad. I carry their names with me every single day to remind myself of the solemn responsibility we face each time the Speaker bangs down her gavel. 19 men, including Specialist Chad Keith from Indiana. 19 guys who never made it home to their families. Specialist James Lambert III from North Carolina. 19 All-Americans who paid the ultimate sacrifice. Private Kyle Gilbert from Vermont. 19 men who are missed. Private First Class Mark Seaton from New Jersey. 19 men. Now we have 9 paratroopers to add to this list. Mr. Speaker, how many more suicide bombs must kill American soldiers before this president offers a timeline for our troops to come home? How many more military leaders must declare the war will not be won militarily before this president demands that the Iraqis stand up and fight for their country? How many more terrorists will President Bush's foreign policy breed before he focuses on developing a new strategy, a real strategy for fighting and beating al-Qaeda? Mr. Speaker, this bill says enough is enough. No more shortchanging our troops. No more open-ended commitment in Iraq. No more refereeing a religious civil war. Mr. Speaker, on the 4th anniversary of the war, I led this body in a moment of silence. Now, my fellow Democrats offer a timeline to bring our troops home. Mr. Speaker, I ask my colleagues on the other side of the aisle who are about to vote no on this bill, will you stand with us next year to offer a timeline on the war's 5th anniversary? How about a timeline on the 6th? How about a timeline on the 10th? Because that's what voting no does. It says no to the tough questions, no to accountability, and no to providing our troops on the ground with a clear mission. Mr. Speaker, I may be hopeful, but I'm not naive. I hear Vice President Cheney taunt patriotic Americans who are concerned with the direction of our country. I see the President using his veto to hold our troops hostage to further his failed strategy in Iraq.
You recognize for 1 additional minute.
I read the Bush Republicans' attacks, questioning my patriotism and support for my fellow soldiers. But, Mr. Speaker, we've all heard these attacks before. The American people know that President Bush and his allies are sadly out of touch. The American people know that supporting the troops means demanding accountability. The American people know we need a change. Mr. Speaker, one of my fellow soldiers lost his brother in the World Trade Center on September 11th of 2001. This soldier is now in Iraq serving on a 2nd deployment. And last week he sent me a message, unsolicited. It said, and I quote, "Never did I think I would disagree with our foreign policy 5 years after my brother was murdered." Our latest mission here is to secure the Iraqi people. I signed up to secure the American people. My fellow colleagues,
Recognized for an additional minute.
this bill, this vote, helps us secure the American people. For too long, the American people have been craving leadership, craving accountability, and craving a new direction in Iraq. Let's give this to them today. I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman yields back the balance of his time. Gentleman from California. Gentleman from California.